as a producer, where do your responsibilities sit and what's on your mind?
Not screwing it up is the most important part of it. I think in part, and the positive way of saying that is trying to, and especially in TV, you're really able to do it because you're in charge of the whole process, from casting, the writing, the production, obviously, and the emotions and score, and all of it is for me the most successful version of it is if when I get to the end of it, if my mom, my dad, my sister, if people who didn't read the comic books in the way that I did, if they watch the episode and they have the same feeling, they get the same feeling that I got when I would read the comic books, then I've done my job right. And so it means we can make changes in terms of elements of the character. It means, but that at the core, they have to have the experience that I got when I read Crisis of Infinite Earths, or anyway. So that would I'd say something like that.
Interesting choice of.
I was just gonna say.
Well, not only because that was where he died, and so like I cried, I was like 13 in like a flea market, like reading the comic books, like the guy would let me read extras for free, and I was sitting there crying, but he was that kind of character that he could, I think elicit that kind of emotion. And anyway.
This show is going to be groundbreaking in terms of not only its diverse representation from different ethnicities, but also with the introduction of 2 new gay characters that are coming on. That's really never been done in a superhero show based on a mainstream character like the Flash. How do you feel being a part of something that is breaking new ground and giving people visibility?
We're all really, really proud of that. I mean, I've worked in TV a long time now, and I think one of my greatest joys about it in general is just how much more diverse it is and how much more encouraged everyone is to have, I was saying at the other table, if I walked into a coffee shop and it was all white straight people, I would freak out. I'd be like, this is really weird. Get me out of here. and like it was, because it wouldn't look like America, and so I want the shows to feel and look like reflect us as a society, and then it allows the shows to deal with all those things. It allows the shows to deal with all those themes and things that and makes it feel more real. And so it's become more of I think a good responsibility for showrunners and for executives to have that kind of diversity on every way possible. And you forget about it sometimes because it doesn't always. Sometimes your own world is small for whatever reasons, your own group of friends or your own. And so it's really nice. You go into the writer's room and someone says, I really want to deal with this issue today, or and so at the outset, the more diverse everything is, you have all these different kinds of characters, the more then along the way writers can say we want to have this issue, or we want to, or I experienced this as a person and I'd love it to write about that, anyway.
You wrote.
Guys, last question.
Oh gosh. I can sneak some others for him. I feel bad because I talked too long about one of the issues.
How much did the previous Flash come into play when you were developing this?
The TV version.
The TV version,
yeah.
Yes.
We're all fans of it. I had only rewatched the pilot and then maybe one other episode, I think. And I knew John from Dawson's Creek. And so we knew we wanted him to be a part of it in some way because we were such fans. And it was just another example. I think that they, a little bit we were mindful of is that I know that it was really challenging for them to maintain the level of visual effects and things even at that time. And we knew kind of going out, that was like something that we had to, just from hearing some of those stories, that we had to be extra mindful of, both at the pilot and now in production on the series, about how we're going to pull that kind of thing off every week.
An earlier generation of comic shows such as Smallville, that generation were very resistant to the use of the uniform. It seemed to modernise heroes, to pull them out of costume. We seem to have gone the other way again. Costumes. What do you think of that? And also, what's the potency of the costume itself? Why is that the best artifact in your kind of visuals?
Well, for me, it's like, I always, again, I feel like it's weird when like you want the characters to be like you read them, like whether or not they're there yet. I mean, it's nice to do. Sometimes I think if you're doing an origin story and they're not all the way there, like our suit here isn't what it's going to be, and Arrow isn't Green Arrow yet. We've sort of said that. But it just, in this day and age, especially when like they can go to the movies or download a film where the character is in a suit, you know, like, and you're dealing with the competition not just against another show, but actually against all the superheroes that are out there in the universe that people can see that are live action. You want the most, I think, the most true version of that. So even though, because in TV you can spread it out over a longer period, it may not be as realized as it would be at the end of the series. You still want enough of it at the outset that it doesn't feel like, wait a second, I'm watching a show about Ambush Bug, but he doesn't look like Ambush Bug.
I will buy you a beer if you put Ambush Bug on.
What do I have to do to make that happen? Who do I have to talk to?
Do you think that television, obviously your Green Lantern film, one of the criticisms was that there was an awful lot that you had to try and get in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Do you think that the serialized nature of television serves...
You're very kind that was just one of the criticisms.
I actually think it's an underrated film.
Anyway, in TV we do have the length. We do have more time to do more, and it's novelistic, right? So, or Game of Thrones, you know, like, I mean, that's the wonderful, awesome thing about television right now is it can go in all these different directions at the same time, and both Flash and Arrow, to me, were show things I thought, oh, I would almost enjoy that more as a series because of all the other elements and things I would want to include than have to do 9 movies to kind of have that kind of stuff, you know. In particular, Arrow was the origin story. It was like, oh, we could actually show him for 5 years on that island, you know. And a movie couldn't do that. It would be 20 minutes in a film, and it would be really tight and crammed in. So yeah, that's the hope.